Hi guys, it's me Terry from Yarnjoy podcast, and I just wanted to pop on here to make an extra little video to show you the blankets that I've gathered together that I'm getting ready to take to Project Linus Foundation to donate them. And so I just wanted to show the blankets one last time before I send them off. So let's get started. Okay, so this first one is a baby blanket that I made with the Premier Yarn Sweet Roll in, I think it's the Birthday Cake Pop. You may remember this from a few episodes back, and this is a virus blanket. And I have washed it, and it did, the yarn washed up really soft. And what I do with my blankets is I wash them on like the permanent press setting on my washer, and that is like a I think it's cold water. And then when I wash them by themselves so they don't rub up against other items. I used to wash them like with towels and stuff, and I've discovered that that's not the way you should wash them, because it causes pretty big of a halo on the yarns, and it just seems like it makes them look worn quicker the more you wash them that way. So anyway, so this time I washed them on the permanent press setting, cold water, and I did use fabric softener and a small amount of detergent, and anyway, and then when I dried them, I did it on the permanent press setting, which is a low heat setting. Okay. Anyway, so this was done with the tutorial from Jonna Martinez here on YouTube, and I can link that tutorial or link to it in the description box below. Okay, so this is the first one, and it is a baby blanket. Okay, now this one, I've never shown this one. This one is done by Karen 1-pounders, and it washed up really soft, so I'm very pleased with that. If you've ever used Karen 1-pounders, they're really not my favorite yarns to use, because they just seem to be kind of scratchy in my hands to work with, and I know I used a Karen 1-pounder with an amigurumi, I think, and now I will say that I was doing some really tight stitches, and it just seems like my hook squeaked a whole lot when I was using it. So but this was made in the Karen 1-pound, and I just want to let you know that if you use that, which I know some people really like using it, and it does wash up very soft, so I might have just not been using the best hook for that yarn, possibly, but anyway, it washes up really nice. This pattern, let me show you the pattern right quick, comes from a book called Baby Afghans from Leisure Arts. It's this one right here, right there. Probably picked it up at Joann's. It's a little small booklet size. It's a very nice collection of blankets for toddlers and babies. It says cuddly wraps for babies and toddlers. And there's about, let's see, does it say? I want to say 6 or so blankets in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. Anyway, so I have done several of these. I did, well, I don't have it because it's something else that I donated, but I'll just show you right quick. I did this one with the circles, the circle ones. I did that blanket. Oh, here it is laid out so you can see it better. But what I did is I used scrap yarn. That's a very good scrap buster blanket, because the colors are just kind of random colors. You know, they're not in any particular order, and they did use several colors to it. So that's a really good scrap project. Now that I see this one, that piques my interest. I may make that one again. Okay, and then so this is the one right here I'm going to show you that I actually did. Here is this one right here. Now, I did this, I've never shown this because I did it a long time ago before, oops, dropped a pencil. I did it a long time ago before I started making videos, but I never wove the ends in. Here it is. Pretty good size. I think I repeated it, maybe another couple of more bars. Oh no, that blanket, the one I showed you, is it folded up. So anyway, I just never wove the ends in. I had it stuck up on the shelf, and I was thinking, oh, that's such a shame that I never, you know, I had all these ends hanging down, and so made myself sit down and get the ends woven in and washed it up, and I'm glad I did because now I can donate it. And like I said, it is really soft, so this is going to be really, it's soft and squishy, so I think somebody hopefully will really enjoy this. Okay, so that's the two that I have that are particular patterns. I mean, certain, what am I trying to say? Different patterns, okay? The rest are the 365 days of Granny Square blankets that I have been doing throughout this past year. And so this is not in any particular order, but of course they're all 6 squares by 6 squares. Here's this one. I did a, I think it's like an off-white or a soft white background on this one. Okay, so there's one. Toss it right there. Okay, and here's another, and I think this one was also the soft white, so this is number 2 in that series. Well, I mean number 2 as far as the way I'm counting them right now, no particular order. Okay, so there's a second one. Okay, and here's another one, a third one. Now this one I did this one in a black. I bordered this one with black. Ugh, I don't think you can see it all. I really like the way I did the bordering here. I know I've shown this before, but I just took some of the colors that I had been using and I just did some extra single crochet, skip a stitch, chain 1, single crochet. I did that 2 extra rounds all the way around, and then another of the black, so that's actually 3 rounds. Once I got the join as you go, once I got it all done, I just went around it 3 more rounds. Anyway, there's that one. Super big. They're all 6 squares by 6 squares. I did use a J hook for all these squares. Well, except for the ones that Nadia would say that they either came out too big, I mean not too big, but larger than the other ones, and so then I would go down a few hook sizes to try to compensate for it. But the majority of them are done with a J size hook, yes. Okay, and so this is the last one I just did. I showed this one in yesterday's video, which is the green background right here. Okay. There's my dragonfly square right there. It's upside down, but anyway. So there you go. There's all the blankets right there. So I have 4 of these, which are the multi-squared 365 Days of Granny Square Project Grannies. And then, so 4 of those, and then I have 2 baby blanket or toddler size blankets. So that's a pretty good stack of 6 blankets that I'll be taking to my local yarn shop, which is in Skane Yarns in San Antonio, here in San Antonio. Okay, so that's all the blankets as far as the blanket roundup. I knew that this video would probably be a little bit short, so I thought what I would do is I would go over just a few of the tips that were left in comments on the 1,000 subscriber giveaway entries. I had people that wanted to enter the giveaway to put down a crochet or crafting or yarn tip within their comments, and so I wanted to share these with everybody because I don't know if you read through the comments, but there's some really good tips in here, and it may be stuff we know already, but it may be things that we didn't think about, or maybe we knew and forgot about it, or maybe we think it's an easier way to do something that we do and might be harder way to do it or whatever. I mean, but these tips would make it would be easier to do it. Okay. Okay, so let me just say a few. I'm not going to go, of course, through all of them because there was like 100 entries or something, but I did want to do a few, and then I will make another video at another time, and I'll do a few more of the tips. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if this is like the first one that came in, but just to try to keep track of them. So James Callan, that's the name of the channel, and that sent in this comment. And it says, I take all of my yarn from the skeins and make them into yarn cakes, which is very good. I know a lot of people, or some people do that, especially it makes it very efficient for storing yarn. If you do the cakes, you can stack them on top of each other easier. So it depends on how you store your yarn. That may be a very good way to do it. You can get more skeins into a smaller space. So very good tip. Okay, Candy Goth Creations, which is Lenny. Hi, Lenny. Her tip was, it says to avoid seeing stuffing, like I'm assuming she's talking about making amigurumis, to drop a hook size from what the pattern says. And I definitely agree with that because I know some of the ones that I do, it'll call for like maybe a G size hook, which, what is that? Like a, I don't know, I don't have the chart, the equivalent. I think that's what, a 4.5 millimeter or something like that. Or 4 millimeter, I think it's a G hook. Anyway, it would call for a G hook, and I always, for my amigurumis, I use an F hook, which is a 3.75, or I have even gone down to an E hook, which I think is 3.25. And I know some people have even made amigurumis using 3.0 millimeters. Depends on the size of the yarn. You still want the hook to be able to grab the yarn well, so it's not frustrating to crochet with it because you'll be losing the yarn all the time. You still want the hook to be able to grab it well, but I do recommend going down a size unless you're like a really super tight knitter, and the G hook may work fine for you. But normally I do like to use, like I said, either the F or the E hook, which is 3.75 or 3.25, I think. I think that's what it is. Anyway, very good tip. It does help so that way you won't see the stuffing through the yarn, through the little holes when you're making the amigurumis. So anyway, okay, so the next one is from Danny Lumb, L-U-M-B. This is what the channel name is. And this person says, this viewer says, I ball up my yarn and make a yarn basket holder to put them in when using the yarn in a project, which is very good. I think that's very good. I have used yarn before that just seems like it is a lint magnet, and I do recommend when you're going to be using stuff like that to have it where it's in a bowl or a basket, like this tip was saying. Anything like that to help, like, to keep dust and from it picking up lint from other things. Black yarn, like this, black yarn is the same way. It's just like a lint magnet. So that's very good tip. And the next one is Happiness is Homemade. I'm reading it off my laptop here. Happiness is Homemade, which is Karen. Hello, Karen. And she says that this tip actually came from her mother, and it says, if you, sorry, if you find that you crochet loosely, go down a size in your hook, which is very good tip as well. I think what happens with me is I think I crochet tighter than normal, because I know my experience with the granny squares. I was wanting the granny squares to turn out to be about six-ish inch squares. And Nadia, in her video, I think she uses an H hook, and I had to go all the way up to a J hook, so I had to go up 2 hook sizes larger to get that size, a nice size square. So yes, and if you do crochet loose, then you would want to go down hooks, 1 hook size or 2, depends, and kind of experiment and see how the item is coming out that you're working on. So yes, don't be afraid to change your hook sizes, regardless of what the hook size recommends, either on the yarn band, the ball band, or in the pattern as well. Sometimes you just kind of have to do that because people don't all crochet the same. That's definitely true. Okay, so let's see. The next one comes from Andrea Tolver, and it says, a good way to keep your unused yarn from getting dusty or worn is to put them in Ziploc bags. You can use this for small projects also. Ziploc bags come in jumbo to snack size, and that is definitely true. Going back to the yarn that I was talking about that was a real lint magnet, that's another thing that you could use is putting them in Ziploc bags, because that does definitely help besides dust or lint from other items. Also, you have to think about if you have pets in the house, you know, it could definitely pick up cat and dog hair. Especially if it's, you know, some black yarn or something like the yarn I was talking about that I was using that just seemed like it just really attracted stuff. And so that is a good point, that you can put them in Ziploc bags as well, or the plastic zipper bags. And you can get some really inexpensive ones at like a dollar store, Dollar Tree or whatever, and should work fine. And different sizes, yes. If you have small little things you're working on, a small size bag, all the way up to jumbos, depending on what you're needing it for. Okay, so let's see. And the next one, and I'll just go with this tip, and then I'll let you go for today, is from the Zincha, is the channel name. And it says, do your hand stretches regularly and move your body every once in a while. And she said that she knits and crochets for hours. And so yes, I do agree with that. Especially if you're sitting looking down, you know, you can really get issues with your neck and the muscles between your shoulder blades as well. I know I do. It can be really stiff back there. Let's see, I'm looking behind me. Do you see the handle? Let me move this way just a little. Okay, the handle thing right there that's sticking up next to my sewing machine, that is a massager that I use that's got a long handle so I can do it myself. But I was having trouble with some of my muscles back in here between my shoulder blades. Trapezius muscle, actually, I think. Anyway, it goes across the top and in between the shoulder blades and up your neck to the base of your skull. Anyway, I was using that massager, and it really helps to loosen up the muscles. And it's funny because when I turn it on, Teddy, my little dog, I'll pick him up in just a minute and show you if he's still in here when I do it. Anyway, he hears it when I turn it on. It starts vibrating, and he runs in here, and he loves for me to run it on him. So, anyway, let me show you right quick. Come here. Come here. Come say hello. Well, come say hello. Ugh. That's Teddy. See, there's Teddy. Yes. He's my unofficial therapy dog. He's a real sweetheart. Okay. It's a good boy. Okay. So, I'll stop there with the tips. I don't want to overload people, but I will definitely come back or do some more of these in future videos, because it's always fun to learn new things and new ways of doing things. So I guess that's it. That's the blanket roundup, and now I'll be taking those so that I'll be making more room in here in my craft room to do some more. So hope y'all, everybody, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week on my regular episode, which will be on Thursday. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.